Putin Bad News Russia is no longer a legitimate nation-state due to Putin. Vladimir Oreshkin. Free University of Riga professor and independent political analyst Dmitry Oreshkin made the observation that Putin has established a system of mutual deterrence and counterweights in which all parties are reporting on one another. As a result, Putin's generals don't trust one another and assume that anyone who tries to organize will meet the same fate as Prigozhin. In an interview for Espresso, he said as much. Russia is no longer a legitimate nation-state because of Putin. Therefore, they had to come to terms with Prigozhin through unofficial agreements. Later, when he was no longer receiving direct military support, they were finally able to eliminate him. This means that Putin's generals know full well that the constitution is meaningless to them. If you put yourself in the shoes of any of these generals, you'll realize that bringing down an opponent is only half the battle. The real challenge is staying on top and retaining control of the Kremlin in the face of the Rosgvardia's ability to easily solve you and usurp your position. Are there any generals who actually need that? Analyst of politics. No, they don't. Dmitry Oreshkin noted that agreements between Shoigu and Zolotov, Shoigu and somebody like Surovikin or Bortnikov, or maybe even Kadyrov, would need to be made before any killing could take place. Putin's regime is predicated on the fact that everyone reports on each other, and this process is accompanied by leaks of information. These generals are at war with one another. They are aware that there may be agents from other security structures operating among the people they trust personally. Putin has established an information sharing system based on mutual deterrence and counterbalances. Following the events of the Prigozhin uprising, he entrusted Zolotov, a close friend and colleague, with the responsibility of responding to any military mutiny. They know they won't be facing off against civilians with heavy weapons and armor, but rather against other soldiers. Generals realize action is required, but they fear a repeat of the Prigozhin incident if any of them try to organize change. That's the worst-case scenario, anyway. Intelligence agencies were aware of the negotiations with Prigozhin, Professor Oreshkin said. The Russian security services would have been aware of Prigozhin's planning if the Americans did. So they collaborated with Surovikin, who didn't take part in the mutiny. He may now come to regret making that choice, as he was given a chance to maintain influence but is now, at best, irrelevant. Reuters reported that 11 Chinese companies, including Baidu, the parent company of TikTok ByteDance, and Tencent were granted permission to develop AI products in China in 2018. Bloomberg reported that 6 were available to the Chinese public as of this week. Ernie, a chatbot released by Baidu on Thursday, is by far the most well-known. Ernie is like ChatGPT in that he can provide solutions to problems like, write a market analysis report on space travel, and insights into issues like, can quantum computers help us colonize Mars? According to Baidu. Wenxin Yiyan, as the chatbot is known in China, can reportedly also generate images in response to written prompts, read documents, and write copy.